Okay guys, welcome to my preview of the DreamHack Cluj-Napoca Major. In this one we're going to be looking at the teams ranked 9 to 12. And this is the Gamers 2 Kingwin, Logic Gaming, Mousesports and Team Liquid. Let's start with G2 Kingwin, and they're ranked 9th according to HLTV. So the rounds they played, or the maps they're playing here, is mainly Dust 2. And then Train they seem to play a fair bit. Infernal, Mirage and Cache are also up there. They don't seem to play a lot on Overpass and Cobblestone, so perhaps they don't like those maps, or perhaps other teams don't want to play them on those maps. I suspect other teams don't want to play them on Overpass, teams like Envious and NIP, and they don't want to play Cobblestone. Let's have a look on LAN. So on LAN, the majority is taken up by Dust 2, Infernal, Mirage. So they're the three maps when G2 play, you'd expect them to be playing. And all the other maps are quite small, with Overpass actually being quite big here on LAN. So Cobblestone, Cache and Train, you don't really expect them to see them play it on LAN. Whether that's dependent on people vetoing it or them vetoing it, I don't know. So let's have a look into the results. So overall, they're really strong on Inferno. And apart from that, they've got no really strong map. So Inferno's 80% win rate, so maybe you don't want to verse them on that map. Mirage, Dust 2, Cache and Train are all between 50 and 63%, with Mirage being above 60, Dust 2 being above 60, and the other two being between 50 and 60. And the two worst maps are Overpass and Cobblestone. They haven't registered a win on Cobblestone in the past 3 months. And the round win percentage is actually like 20%. So that's not good. Now if we look on LAN, you see Inferno, Cache and Train at 100% win rate, so really strong maps for them, particularly on LAN. Online they're not as strong. Inferno's still up there, Cache and Train aren't as strong online. Mirage has now become 50-50, pretty weak now. Dust 2 has become strong. And Overpass and Cobblestone, they haven't registered a winner, but remember they haven't really played Overpass and Cobblestone very much on LAN. So perhaps you'd expect them to veto it, or perhaps you might have to veto against them, but I would not veto Overpass or Cobblestone against Kingwin. Try to play them on it, or force them to veto, because they're not good on it. Even if you aren't not so good on it, maybe try and get it in there. Mirage is what you're going to be aiming for, and then the others, it gets a bit tricky. Dust 2 is the map they like playing the most, but that's the 4th best map on LAN. So maybe you have to go to the online rods, and maybe Cache and Train might be worth having a look at, depending on what you're good at. Let's have a look at the biases. So, Inferno, Mirage, Cache and Train, overall, they're better on both sides, which is actually really strong for those two maps. Dust 2, they have a really good T side and a pretty much standard CT side. Overpass and Cobblestone, they're bad on both sides, with the CT side of Cobblestone being horrendous, less than minus 40%. So that's where you want to get them on if you can. On LAN, it's a bit more spread out here. Inferno and Cache being better on both sides still. And then Mirage and Train, instead of being better on both sides, now the T side is now lacking on LAN. So whether that's due to their strategies or whatnot, their T sides are lacking on that map. Dust 2, it's a bit bigger than it was before. The CT sides are lacking a bit more, the T sides are a little bit better. And that could just be due to the sideness of the map there. Overpass and Cobblestone, they're still bad on both sides. So you want to burst them on Overpass and Cobblestone if you can. And then Mirage, Train, Dust 2, probably one of those three you want to be able to try and get in there as well. You probably don't want to burst them on Cache or Inferno. Now let's have a look at Logic Gaming, and they're ranked 10th. So the maps they play. So they like playing Mirage, and the rest of the maps are pretty much the same, apart from Inferno, which they don't seem to play that much. So they don't really have these staple maps, apart from not Inferno. So on LAN, it becomes even more spread out, with Mirage still being the most, and then Dust 2 being up there. Inferno's actually played a higher percent on LAN than the others, so they don't really have a staple map that they want to aim for, or that teams want to aim for against them. But let's have a look at their results to figure out what you should play them against. So here, their Inferno, which they don't play, is their worst map, so they're probably going to try and veto Inferno. Apart from that, their best map is Train, and then Mirage, and then Cache. So they play a lot of Mirage. They like to play Mirage, and they're quite good at it. So that's the map they're confident on. That'll be their staple map. Train they're pretty good on. Cache they're quite good on. So they're the 3 best maps. And then Dust 2, Overpass, and Cobblestone, they're between 50 and 60% overall. And remember, a lot of this is against Tier 2, Tier 3 US teams. So let's have a look on land, so against top teams. Inferno, they still haven't won, so that's the map they're going to veto. Or if they don't veto, you want to try and play them on. Even if you're not very good on it, they are terrible on it. And then the staple map, which was Mirage and Train earlier, they're still pretty good on, 60% to over 70%. And now they're good on Overpass. And Cache they're still good on, so the change from overall to on land hasn't really done that much. Except for, it's actually increased their win rate on some maps, except for Inferno. So Cobblestone and Dust 2, they're the 2 maps you want to head for, if you can. So they're going to veto Inferno, then you try and get them on Dust 2 and Cobblestone. You maybe want to veto Overpass, depending on how good you are. Maybe you can get Train in there, that might be okay. Mirage and Cache you also want to try and veto. Let's have a look at the biases here. So Inferno, which is their bad map, they're actually not too bad on the CT side, it's their T side that's really letting them down. The 2 good maps, which was Mirage Training, well the 3 good maps, Mirage Training, Cache, really, really strong CT sides. And either a lackluster T side or a standardish T side. So some are above, one's above the average and 2 are below. One's actually quite a bit below. But on Mirage, their really strong CT side makes up for it. Overpass are actually better on both sides. Same with Cobblestone. And Dust 2, their CT side is lacking, their T side is quite strong. So it's a mixed bag. These guys are ranked 10th. And they're still getting quite good results on a lot of these maps. So on LAN, it's a bit more exaggerated here. Inferno, again, worse on both sides. Quite worse on both sides. Mirage, their CT side is really strong, their T side is lacking. Dust 2, their T side is crazy, and their CT side is lacking. So, maybe if you're a really good CT side and you think you can shut their T side down, Dust 2 is the map to go for. Overpass, Cobblestone, and Cache, they're actually still better on both sides. So, this one's here is, they're going to ban out Inferno, so you're not going to play Inferno against them. And then it's just, are you better on Mirage, Dust 2, Train? Are you good on those 3 maps? Maybe try and get them. Overpass, Cobble, or Cache? It depends, like, they're good on both sides, so that's going to be a struggle. Now let's have a look at Mousesports, which is ranked at 11th. They've dropped in the rankings lately. Let's have a look at their maps. So they like playing Dust 2, and then Cache, really. Apart from that, Mirage they don't really want to play. Inferno they don't seem to play a lot. The others are about even. So let's have a look on LAN. So on LAN you can really see that they love playing Dust 2. And they don't like playing Inferno or Mirage or even Train. They also like playing Overpass and Cache still, but they're probably going to be their 3 staple maps. 50% of their maps have been on Dust 2 and Overpass. And probably Dust 2 and Cache have also been 50%. And Cobblestone they're pretty confident playing as well. Let's have a look at their results. So, Inferno, they're not very good on it, and they don't play it, so that doesn't really matter. Mirage, oddly enough, they're quite good on. And Dust 2, they're okay. Overpass, they're okay. Cobblestone, they're pretty bad on it, even though they do play it a fair bit. And Cache, they're quite good on, and then Train, they're bad on it. So, their best maps is Mirage, Cache, Overpass, and then Dust 2 is their 4th. And the other 3 maps are actually quite bad on. So it's 40% or below win rate. So they're going to be trying to ban out the 3 maps that they're not very good on. So you're probably going to end up playing them on Dust 2 if you ban out their best 3 maps. So let's have a look on LAN. So on LAN, Inferno, haven't registered a win. Mirage, haven't registered a win. Cobblestone, less than 40%. The others are actually all above 60%, which is really interesting. Probably due to the lack of maps some of them have played overall. So such as Mirage, they don't really played it. So, if you're going on LAN against them, you're probably not going to play Inferno, Mirage, or Cobblestone. If they can ban all 3, they're going to ban all 3. If they're not going to ban all 3, they might leave in Cobblestone, since they seem to play it a lot, so they'll probably leave that one in. And then, you guys will probably want to ban Cache, or Train, or Overpass. Probably you just pick your best one out of those, because they're all pretty similar. Maybe try to ban Cache, and then pick your best out of Train, Dust 2, and Overpass, since they're all similar. And it also might depend on how sided you are on these maps. Let's have a look at the sidedness. So Inferno, their worst map, they're bad on both sides, as expected. Mirage, the very few times I've played it, they're actually quite good CT side. The T side is about the standard. Dust 2, the CT side is a bit poor, T side is quite strong. Overpass and Cobblestone, they're about standard. Cache, they're good on both sides. So that's their good map, they're good on both sides of it. Train, they're quite good on CT side, and they're pretty poor on the T side of Train. So maybe you could exploit that if you're good on Train. On LAN, a few interesting things happen here. They actually get better at CT side Inferno on LAN, but worse at T side. Mirage, their T side is really bad on LAN. So that's the map you're going to want to try and get on them, because their T side is just so bad their CT side can't make up for it, even though it's better than average. Dust 2, the CT side's a little bad, the T side's quite good. Overpass, the CT side's about average, T side's pretty okay. Cobblestone, CT side is really quite bad, and the T side is average, or a bit above average. Cache, good on both sides. The only map on LAN they're good on both sides. And Train, their CT side is really strong, and their T side is only a little bit below average. So perhaps if you have a really, really strong T side, you might be able to want to try and take them on Train if you think you can break through. And Cobblestone, if you have a really strong T side, maybe you can, or CT side, maybe you can stop their good T side. You probably don't want to play them on Cache because it's going to be a struggle both sides. Overpass, you've got to have a really strong CT side, otherwise their T side will just run through you. And the same with Dust 2. Mirage and Inferno, if you can get them in the pool, you're probably going to win them. So now let's have a look at Team Liquid, which is ranked 12th. So their maps, they seem to play Overpass a lot, and they play Cache a lot. And Dust 2, Cobblestone, and Train get played an average amount, with Inferno not actually being played that much. So their staple map, their biggest map they play is pretty much Cache. And Cache and Overpass take up about 50% of their maps. So now let's have a look on LAN. So one thing to note here, they haven't played Inferno on LAN in the past 3 months. Cache is a map they play a lot. Train, they don't seem to play on LAN very much. And then the rest of the three are all about even, which is Dust 2, Overpass, Cobblestone and Mirage. They're all about even, with the Mirage being a bit more than the others. So let's have a look here at the results. So Inferno, even though they don't play it that much, they're actually quite good on it. 70% win rate. Now that could just be due to playing really low tier teams. They're fine with letting Inferno go through so they can beat them up on it. But even though they don't play it, they're actually semi-decent on it. So looking at this, their best maps are Cobblestone and Cache. So they play Cache a lot, they're good on it, so that's good for them. Overpass are also pretty good on it. So they're probably their 3 staple maps, the maps they want to go to, Cache, Cobblestone, and Overpass. And their worst map is Dust 2. Still above 50%, so still okay. Both sides are actually 50% or above as well. And then Mirage and Train are going to be their 4th and 5th maps. So let's have a look. On LAN becomes a massive problem for Team Liquid here. Inferno, they haven't played it on LAN, so no results there. Dust 2 and Train, they haven't registered a single win on LAN on those maps. Mirage and Overpass, it's been pretty poor as well, below 35%. Overpass even below 30%, below 25% even. Cobblestone, it's been acceptable at 50% win rate, and Cache is just above 50% at about 57% win rate. So if you ban Cobblestone and Cache against Liquid, you're going to probably have an easy time when Train, Overpass, Mirage, Dust 2 and Inferno in the mix, and they do not have a good record on those maps. So let's have a look at the biases here. So Inferno, overall, actually better on both sides than expected, which is really weird why they don't play it. Cache, better on both sides. Overpass, better on both sides. So they're their 3. If they did play Inferno, that would be those 3 maps that they would be good on. The 3 maps you might have to veto against them. The maps that are a bit more interesting are Mirage, Dust 2 and Cobblestone, which they're good on one side and bad on the other, and they're usually quite good on one side. So Mirage, they're quite good on that CT side. Dust 2, that's T side, and Cobblestone's the T side. And it's just the other side's letting them down a bit. So Mirage, their T side's letting them down. Dust 2, their CT side's letting them down a little bit. Cobblestone, even less. And then Train, they're actually bad on both sides. So now let's have a look on LAN. On LAN, Inferno, again, they haven't played it, no results. Mirage is actually better on both sides, even though they haven't actually won a game, which is quite interesting. So they're better than average on both sides, yet they haven't won a game. Cage, they're better on both sides, only by a little bit though. And that's their best map on LAN. Dust 2, they're really poor on their city side, and they're average on their T side. Which means, again, poor map for them. Overpass, poor CT side, decent T side, okay. Cobblestone, poor CT side, really quite good T side. This is their best T side map here. Which is why they're actually okay on Cobblestone. And Train, one of the terrible maps, really, really bad CT side. It's actually around a 50% CT side. So that they haven't won a single round on CT side Train on LAN. And their T side is actually quite poor as well, at -15, -17%. So the map you want to pick against Liquid, Inferno if they leave it in, perhaps, maybe not. They don't play it, but they're good on it, so maybe not. Pick Train if they leave it in. Pick Dust 2. Maybe Overpass. And then Cache you want to veto. Cobblestone you probably want to veto. Mirage, if you can, maybe think about vetoing that one, depending on how good you want it. Because remember, they don't have a good win record on Mirage. They just have a good round record on Mirage, so maybe you can play that one. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time with the last 4 teams at the DreamHack Cluj-Napoca Major.